So, thank you for joining this class. It's a good day, and it's going to be a very great time that we're going to be together. And this very class is an introductory class to the whole series of the Python class. So, we're going to take the Python from number one, from the basics till the advanced. Okay, and this course is has been put in such a way that we don't really waste time talking about talking a lot of stories, but what we do is we try as much as we can to make sure we cover a lot. Okay, so we cut out a lot of stories. So without further ado, I want to say my name is John of CyberWatch. I'm the founder of CyberWatch. All right, so we are going to get the best or what you will the lesson, the tutorial that you will never regret. Okay, so let's begin. So what we need to do or what we need to talk about now is Python. You know, Python is actually a programming language. A lot of times when you hear people say coding, 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 a lot of people say coding, coding, and all that. All right, so if you actually want to do a lot of things yourself, okay, Python programming language, if you want to code, let me use that term now. Python programming language is actually one of the best, easy to learn programming languages, okay, that one can actually pick to learn. All right. So if I type here Python programming, everything, this class is going to be real practical. So anything I do, I'm not going to pre-record, or I'm not going to kind of arrange something and keep. No, everything that we research for, we talk about, we're going to browse like I just did now. Okay, we're going to browse. I'm going to type it out. You're going to see it yourself. And as we start working with Python, you're going to see a lot of things yourself. Like there's nothing that I'm hiding. Okay, like I want to talk about Python, so I went to Google and I typed Python programming. So now uh, this is Python programming, and let's see what I talk about it here. Python is a high level general purpose language. Okay, programming language. Its design philosophy emphasizes code readability with the use of significant indentation. Okay, Python is dynamically typed and garbage collected. So let's forget about the story. So what we need to actually know is Python is a high level programming language. Okay, with the knowledge of Python, you can do a lot. You can build web applications, you can build websites, you can even build mobile apps using some of the libraries um, in or framework rather in Python. We can also, with the knowledge of Python, you can also, if you want to go the way of data, I mean data analysis or data science, you can actually go that route also. All right. So now, um, okay, let me click on this one to drop down. This class is actually an introduction to the whole class. Okay, it's an introduction to the whole class, and this is the first class. Okay, so here they say Python is often used as support language for software developers. So you see, so for build, control, and management, testing, and in many other ways. You know, we a lot of software developers now are actually in the part of Python. Okay, so when you are a programmer in Python, you can actually become a software developer, and I would say the power is in your hands. It's just where you are going to face it. Like after you've learned this, where do you want to face it? Is it data? Is it API, like API? Is it data analysis of data science? Is it API creation, or is it um, robotics? Is it um, things like biometrics and all that? Python is so packed with a whole lot of libraries that you can use to achieve a lot of tasks. Okay, and as we go ahead, we're going to be seeing what we're going to be doing. Okay, and in Python also we are going to, in this tutorial we're going to actually, like, today's class is introduction. Okay, we're going to actually do a lot of things. Let me come here and even say Python tutorial pathway. Python tutorial pathway. All right, pathway. All right, so I just did enter, you know uh, okay. Okay, let me just say Python tutorial uh, topics. All right. Now, this is what I'm talking about. So we, like, today's class, like I have earlier said, is introduction. So we are going to be doing data types and variables. Variables, data types, operators, control structures, like we have here, control structures, basic data structure, functions, modules, file handling, error, and escape handling, a whole lot of stuff. Okay, we're going to be doing here. But we, like, in this class, we're going to start from that first type, which is introduction to Python, which is what we're doing now. What is Python? Installing Python. We're going to do this in this very class. Okay, we're going to install Python and all that, and install the IDEs. When we get there, you know what actually IDE mean. All right, actually it is integrated development environments. Okay, this is where the environment that you can actually code Python. Okay, that's what IDE means. So we're going to be installing them in this very class. So we go ahead with data types, variables, integers, float string, boolean. All right, we're going to type conversion, basic operator, arithmetic, comparison, logical operators, control structures, like conditional and all that. We're going to do a whole lot of stuff. Okay, so let's not actually waste our time here now. Let's go straight to getting what we need to get and downloading what we need to be downloading. Okay, so I'll come here. So what are the things that we need to actually start coding in Python? Number one, we we will need our system to have Python downloaded. All right, Python as a language downloaded on the system, on this very laptop. And here I'm using Windows operating system. Okay, and this is Windows 11. You can use Windows, anything that you want to use to run this, it will still work. Okay, if you have Linux, there are also ways you can actually download for Linux and for Mac, but here this is Windows operating system. So everything I'm going to be doing here now is going to be based on Windows operating system. So now the first thing, like I told us, is we'll go and get Python. So let's go to get Python. Let's say Python download. Okay, yeah, I can say for Windows anyhow. All right, so this is what you should do. Just follow this step appropriately and accordingly. So we'll now go to python.org. All right, so from here we see that the latest version of Python is the Python 3.12.6. All right, that's the latest version of Python. Okay, so what we need to do is just click on this download here, and you'll see it will take you to your download folder. Here it's under download. So this is the name, Python 3.12.6. So I'll now click on save. All right, and it's actually saving here. If we check here, it's actually saving here. Right, now it's saved. So let's go to the folder where it was saved in, that is download folder, which is this very one. Okay, so I'll go ahead and double click on it. Okay, it's either you double click or you right click. When you right click, okay, let me close this. When you right click, yes, when you right click on it, you should see open. Okay, this is Windows 11. So what you see on this very menu that pops up might be different if you're not using Windows 11 operating system. Okay, you click open, it's still the same thing, or you double click on it, it's still the same thing. So here it's saying, it's giving us options. install now. Okay, include idle PIP and documentation, create shortcuts and all that. Here we have customized installation. So we'll go ahead and click install now. Okay, but when we check on this under, you see use admin privilege when installing py.exe. Anytime you see any py file, it means it's a Python um, document or Python file. But we should make sure that you click on this very one. Add python.exe to path. It's very important you click on this, you tick. Look at this box here, you tick on it. It's very important you do that. Why? Because you need Python to be added to the system path. Else you are going to be getting errors and errors and errors when we start. Okay, so remember to click, always remember to click this very box here to tick it. Then we'll go ahead and click on Python. Yes, so we'll see this. We'll go ahead and click yes, and we'll wait for it to install. Okay, I'm not going to be the only thing I will do here, if I notice something is going to take too long so that the video will not be too long, I will go ahead and pause it and continue later. But most time I will leave it so that you see everything that's happening here on this side of the with me here. So maybe whenever anyone or you are going to be doing the same thing that I'm doing, it won't look as if yours is different. Okay, you will know the steps that I actually follow to do them. You should know the time it takes. But because of uploading and downloading of the video, if anyone is going to be getting too long, I will actually go ahead and pause videos, then continue when it's done. All right. So we actually are waiting for this one to be installed. So while we are waiting, actually, I think it's pertinent to also um, also uh, state that we we need to, or you need to actually pay good attention to this class, because I'm going to go down deep, okay, to bring expose a lot of things and to bring a lot of things to your knowledge, and I'm going slowly, and I will try my best for you to, so that we anyone that come across this video again also will actually understand what we're trying to do here. And also, another thing that we need to know also at this point is learning Python, okay, or any other programming languages. Anything you're even learning in life, you need to practice, okay, practice and practice. So after you've learned anything, make sure you do that same thing that you've done in the class, and that actually will help you to retain whatsoever you were taught. And also, when you keep practicing, it becomes part of you. That's how I learn. Personally, I learn by doing. Okay, most times I learn on the job. So I learn by doing. So don't learn and like it's theory. If you like, now we just started a class and this is practical. We're going practical now. So all you need to do to know is this class is purely practical. Programming, coding is actually practical. So all you need to do all the time is in a day, always try to think about what you've learned. Always try to go over what you've learned. That way, then you try also to run your hands on, so that that thing that you learned actually, or you're learning, will become part of you. Now, while this is downloading, actually, again, let's go ahead to look for another thing that we're going to be downloading. And what are we going to be downloading now? We're going to be downloading our IDE. There are a lot of IDEs, okay? IDE like this for Python. Okay, let me just say for Python. There are a lot of IDEs that we can actually use, like VS Code, like PyCharm, that we can actually use to run Python codes. Okay, and what we need to, okay, look at what I was saying. We have PyCharm. Okay, we have PyDev. There's all these other guys are here. Visual Studio Code. Okay, but basically, what I actually use to run the two thing is this PyCharm. Okay, and these Visual Studio Code. Those are the first run tool that I use. But also there is one also that I use, um that I use. Okay, but we'll get there. When we get there, I'm going to let you know about it. Okay, but for now, let's go ahead and download PyCharm. Why am I choosing PyCharm? Visual Studio Code is a very powerful IDE that we can also use. Okay, I use it a lot to code my PHP, to code other programming. Okay, other coding, and I also use PyCharm also. But my I would say my favorite IDE is Visual Studio Code. But why am I choosing PyCharm now for us to download? I'm choosing it because PyCharm is easy to use. It's easier to use the way I see it. My opinion though, it's easier to use. Okay, and for example, okay, let me bring something now. While you're using Visual Studio Code here, you any line of code you write, okay, or any part of the code that you actually need to save. Okay, your Control S to save the code so that you can retain the code on the system. In PyCharm, I noticed that while you are doing it, even if you don't save, and maybe you're working on a desktop and the light goes, whenever maybe something happen and your light turns off, your system turns off, whenever you come back, you still see the code that you last wrote. Okay, so it's like it has an auto save. All right, so that's why I'm going to be downloading PyCharm. So I'm taking this time to actually explain this so that you know on why I'm actually of the opinion that we should go ahead and download PyCharm. All right, so we'll do PyCharm download. So actually, it will take us to the website that we're going to download it. So we'll go to JetBrains. Okay, the first thing that comes out with that's JetBrains. Okay, we'll go there and download PyCharm. So let's go back here and check what we were installing. Okay, now setup was successful. It means the new to Python start with the online tutorial and all that. So we'll go ahead and click on close. Right, so this is we have Python on the system already. Now this here we can go ahead and do accept all or close anyone that is your choice. Go ahead and do it. So at this point now, you will now click on this part and choose your window. All right, now even I'm using a Windows operating system, but what I'm using is not ARM. Okay, I'm using Intel. So how will you know this? You are going to know this because by just checking your system. Most times if you're using a laptop, it will be written on that part when if you want to type. Okay, that part where your palm will rest. When you check it, you're going to see what the type of laptop or system you are using. Now mine is Intel, so I'll go for the in this very first one. Okay, device driver. Okay, yeah. So now I will go ahead and click on download. Now thank you for downloading PyCharm. So PyCharm will start downloading shortly. Yeah, so now this is PyCharm Professional. And also one thing you need to know, PyCharm has a community version. Now hold on, let me cancel it. Okay. PyCharm has a community version that you need to use. Okay, most times we have community version, now PyCharm community edition, sorry. So this very one is the professional. This one, when you want to use it, you're going to be paying some things. Okay, and most times we don't like paying. Sorry, this is not what we're going to be downloading, and this is what we're going to be downloading: PyCharm community edition. Okay, the IDE for pure Python development. So we come here, the same thing that happens up, we select the one that is appropriate for your system and go ahead and click on download. Now the community version, you don't need to pay anything. So we'll go ahead and do save. So you see that it started downloading already. So it's downloading already. Okay. So we are going to wait for it to be downloaded. Okay, so let's come back here again. So those are majorly the two things that we will be needing um to for this class. All right, to be successful in this class. So while we're waiting for our download to be done also, um there's every need we I think it's important rather to actually talk more on what we were talking about, or more on on this class. All right. Um, when we are done with this class, you should be able to code using in Python programming language. All right. And because of the fact that this is an introductory class, that's why we're taking this time to talk about stories, PyCharm, and all that. Okay. Actually, you need to know. Else, the pattern of this class is in CyberWatch is we go straight to the point, and we deal with all the topics accordingly and appropriately and in time. All right. So we'll not really stretch a lot. Okay. So Python, like I said, if you're very good in Python, you can do a whole lot of stuff. All right. Now, after learning this, it will now be left for you, the students, to now okay look around and say, okay, where am I going to face this Python class now? I'm sorry, Python knowledge now. Now, but during and maybe after this class, I will actually point you to any interesting part that any part or any path here that might be interesting to you, and you go ahead and pursue them. But the foundation and the most important thing is what you're getting on, which is the Python programming knowledge. Then one thing again that I need to also buttress here is at the end of every, I don't just teach, all right, I don't just give the tutorial, I don't just teach, but I try as much as I can that anyone that I teach, all right, will should understand what I'm teaching. Now, what am I saying? At the end of each week, okay, all my students, I will have a one-on-one Zoom class with them. All right, so that one-on-one Zoom class, what I actually try to achieve there is to talk with you, not exam, not test, okay, but assessment. I'll kind of try to assess you to know um, how well you're doing, okay, with whatsoever I'm teaching you and passing across to you. Okay, so I try as much as I can to ensure that you know, actually know what you have been taught or what you're trying to learn in this class. Okay, so just be rest assured that after the class, at least once, at least it might not be every week, but at least once in every week. Okay, I'll say once in every week. I'll try. Okay, I know I have a tight schedule, but I'll try once in every week so that we talk one on one and actually know how you're actually doing with the class. Okay, so that's another thing also. So while we are waiting for the PyCharm to be done downloading, let's go here. Since we've installed Python, let's go here. Let me show you something. All right, yeah, this is the Python doc. Okay, so that was recently installed. This is one thing that I want to show us. This is the ID idle, okay, Python idle. So we'll go there and we'll talk one or two there. Okay, now let's wait for the idle to come up. Yeah, this is Python idle. All right, now this is like a quick interface that we can actually interact with, okay, after installing Python or anytime you want, because on this interface we can actually do a couple of things. Okay, um let's say we can use it as a calculator. Like if I say 1 plus 1 and I press enter key on my keyboard, you see the answer that it's going to be showing 2. Okay, let me maximize it and let me go ahead and see if I can increase the font. All right, where is it? Let's go ahead. Like I told you, everything is going to be um direct, no pre-editing, nothing. Okay, nothing, no pre-editing, nothing. Okay, so okay, let me do this. Okay, hold on. Okay, It's not working right. Okay, I hope you can see this thing. I hope you can see it because sorry, I don't really use this, so I don't know where to actually increase the font size. What is the option? Okay. All right. Since we are not going to do a lot here, let's continue to actually do this. So this is like uh a calculator. Now just say 1 plus 1 is, and I press enter and it's giving us 2. That's why I said it's like a calculator. Okay. Also, let's go ahead and say, don't worry, what I'm about to type you will learn when we get to variables. Okay, let's say name. I type name and I say its name is equal to and I do open quotes and I say John and I close the quotes. If I press enter, you see it's showing nothing. Okay, showing nothing because that's what we're going to learn when we get to variables. Okay, but if I wanted to show something, I will call this. I will call this very guy here, which is name, and it's going to show this. So if I come down here and I type just name and I press enter, you see that it's giving us John. Okay, that's the concept of variables. Okay, variables are like containers, though we are not there yet, but they are like containers. So but before we get there, let me give you a heads up. So this name is a variable that is containing this variable, this very value here called John. Okay, so anytime I want to maybe call this John. I won't say John, I'll just say name. I'll call name like I did here, and it's giving us John. Okay. So let's check our download and see how far we've gone. Oh, it's done. It's done. Let's go back there. Yeah, it's done. So let's go here and install our Python. Right. So I'll double click on it like we did before, or you right click your mouse, then you click open. Okay, so that's actually a little like a tip of the iceberg that we saw in the idle. All right, this very idle. Okay, so but for now I'm going to close out the idle here. Okay, I'll close out the idle and we'll go to our installation. Yeah, so we'll now click yes. We'll click yes, wait for it to load. So let's go ahead and minimize that. Yeah, I suspected that I had to be behind. So we'll do next. Now it's saying we should choose install location. Where do we want to install this very thing? Most times I leave it and I do next. All right. Now you say create desktop shortcut. Most times I would like to just have the shortcut here. So when I double tap on it or right click and click open, I can go to my PyCharm directly. All right, like I have when you check here, I have VS Code. You see, Visual Studio Code here. Okay, so let's add it to our desktop. Okay, and now update path variable. Now you need to restart needed. Okay, at that point. So when we click on this add bin folder to the path, okay, well, because of this class, I wouldn't want us to restart this system yet. Okay, but let's go ahead and say, let's say update context, create association um dot py. So let's just go ahead and okay, let's do this and go ahead and click on next. Okay, let's do this. So in a case where we can't control the restart, okay, we can't control the restart to say it should restart later, then this video might end, and when it ends, I don't know whether we're going to get um what we're supposed to go. But let's go ahead and click on next. Okay, now let's go ahead and click on install. We see that it just dropped here. All right, but it's still installing. Okay, still installing. All right, so when I was done, sorry, I had a little glitch on the other recording, so now I am I'm continuing here. Okay, so I want to manually reboot later. Okay, so let's do that and do finish. All right, so now we have PyCharm here now. So there's no need to add to pad, no need to reboot for now until we reboot our system. So right now I'm going to click, double tap or double click on the PyCharm. So we will now the wait for the PyCharm now to load up. Yeah. So here is PyCharm by JetBrains. So now we will go over here and say I do confirm, yeah, and do continue. Now data sharing, no, don't send. Right. So here you say import settings. No, skip import because I have Visual Studio installed. So I'll do skip import. All right. So this is a PyCharm now. Okay. So the PyCharm here will go on. We can do add new project by clicking that plus. Let's leave the name as okay. Let's just say Python tutorial. Let's say um, Python tutorial. All right. So we can click on here to create Git repository. We'll get to know that later. Then create a welcome. Let's forget about those ones. But here we'll come here and choose the latest Python that we install, which is this very one. We click on it. Then we'll go ahead and click on create button down here. So you see that everything is being set up. Everything is being set up as of this time. So we'll wait for it and see how it's going to be set up finally. Yeah, it's installing Python on the PyCharm rather. Now Python 3.12 this installation failed. Why? Try to install Python manually. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead. We'll take care of that. So here, what we should do here now, we'll come over here. We'll come over here and I say new. That is if we want to start creating projects. Okay, you can just come here and we'll go here, okay, and do new. Okay, when we do new, we'll do new file and we'll give the name of the file and we'll say introduction, that introduction in Python tutorial. I will press enter and we're here. So this is where actually we'll start coding. Normally the first thing that we code in Python, in any programming language, is hello world. So don't worry about what I'm going to type now. So if I go ahead and do print, okay, and I open up the parentheses, I open up this and I say hello world. Okay, I do my exclamation mark, I close back, and sorry, not any semicolon. I'm trying to bring another stuff. So let's close this very one back and do this. Okay, as soon as we're done, we'll go up here. You see this play button, you click on it to actually run this code. All right, when you go up here and click on it, it will run. But now that we don't have Python installed in this very thing here, it's not going to work. Okay, we'll go back actually and we'll go back actually and we'll try to we'll try to install or to receive this very guy now. So let's go here and do refactor. What is it? Okay, 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 let's go ahead and delete this guy. Okay, let's delete this guy and do a new, let's do a new, and let's do file. All right, or let's go to Python file. All right, sorry, so that we'll not have to will not have any problem. Okay, let's go to new, let's go to Python file and let's give the name. Let's say introduction, Then we'll now click on this very Python file here. Sorry, we'll click on Python file. And it will now open up. So we'll go ahead and do print. Now open this, and we'll now do this, and we'll say hello world. Hello world. We'll do our exclamation. So when we go ahead and click on this run, you see that it's going to ask us to select the interpreter that we're going to be running with. Okay, but right now we had errors, so we will go ahead and choose the latest Python tutorial. Actually, sorry, um, Python to run with. Okay, so